In January of the year 1776, a man named Thomas Paine wrote a 48-page pamphlet titled Common Sense, which basically asked the simple question, do we really need a king? I've always called for a revolution, but now I'm saying we need a revelation. You in this room are among the few who understand that the way we're living isn't quite right. And the work that you all are doing is an extremely important part of this transition, maybe even one of the most important parts. But I still can't help but feel that there's something missing. You know, we can talk all we want about foreign energy, green jobs, alternative transportation, American Renewable Energy. But it seems to me like all this is just trying to kind of bend and rework this current consumer mindset so that it includes, solar panels and electric cars while we're still thinking and living the same way.
Our current economy is collapsing and will collapse. It is wholly unsustainable. It is based on a mental theory that what we want to do is increase the flow of stuff through the economy. We measure whether we're better or worse off economically by gross national product.
Yeah.
Gross domestic product. In Europe, same difference. If the GDP goes up, we all go, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But is it? It's not even that we have more stuff, it's that more stuff has flown through the economy. A divorcing cancer patient who gets in a car wreck has added to the gross national product. Think about it. Lawyers for divorce, cancer, all the doctors, car wreck, got to get the car fixed, all more lawyers. All of this adds to the gross national product. Is she any better off? Clearly not.
It's kind of messed up. It's almost like we're trying to change the way things are while keeping everything the same as it's always been. I don't think that'll work. I believe that the only way we'll be able to live in a sustainable and just society is if we learn to think with a sustainable and just mindset. A mindset where we value nature and future generations just as much as money and convenience, where we understand that we are just one part of this complex system that is Earth. But this deep of a shift isn't just going to come out of nowhere.
I think that it's a matter of struggle for political organizations. I think it does take the kind of movement that you've talked about. I think you have to mobilize young people. They need to speak up on behalf of these issues because they're going against some very, very powerful forces. Forces of big oil are the most powerful economic forces in the world. You're going against people who control those reserves. So this can only be done through a mass movement that overturns the established structure of energy markets. It can't be done in a smooth transition.
Because right now our whole worldview is centered around this mantra of more stuff, more oil, more control, more power, more. We simply must step back, transform this mindset, and learn what just enough is. And I think I have a plan. I found that one of the most effective ways to actually convey a powerful message and create deep change in people's minds is through stories. Through telling stories that are more inherently human than anything else. And they have the power to push beyond words and actually create deep change in people's hearts, not just their minds. It was seeing Al Gore's story in An Inconvenient Truth 4 years ago that got me started in all of this. And eventually, brought me to be standing here today. So I and my organization are working on producing this series of short films that tells stories of youth from all over the country who are already dealing with the effects of climate change, who deal with it on a personal basis and who are taking action.
I had the most amazing experience 2 weeks ago. I served on a panel at Google. I got to go to Google, which is very exciting, inside Google, and got to eat in the famous Google cafeteria, which is really as great as everyone says it is. And I was on a panel with a wonderful man from South Carolina named Bob Inglis. And Bob Inglis is a very, very conservative Republican congressman who lost his seat in the U.S. Congress to a Tea Party candidate because Bob Inglis said in public that he accepted the scientific evidence of climate change and global warming. And I asked him, I said, well, Bob, what made you change your mind? Because for years he had thought it was, a hoax or whatever. And he said, my son. He said, my son came home from college and he had taken a science class in which they talked about climate change and they talked about the evidence. And he came home and he said to me over Christmas, Dad, you're on the wrong side of this issue. You're on the wrong side of history and the wrong side of the future. And if you don't change your position on this issue, I will not vote for you in the next election.
His own son.
His own son.
And we are using these stories to build a movement. And the films are going to be released alongside these monthly campaigns to mobilize youth as leaders in their communities. And our plan, empowers this generation who's most impacted by climate change to become activists in their communities and eventually be the most powerful force in the world. I have a plan, but I honestly need your help to make it happen. We are trying to build a movement, and for that, we need funding, as hard as it is to say that. If anyone can help financially with any of this or know anyone who can, please talk to me afterward. We'd love to talk to you. And also anyone else who can help in any other way or even can kind of help me through this journey of just kind of trying to figure out what it's really going to take to get us out of this mess. Please talk to me. I'd love to talk to anyone who can help in any way.
I challenge people, especially young people like you, are to act more boldly. And I cite the example of one young college student by the name of James Meredith, who is positioned now at the entrance to Ole Miss. When it was first integrated, he walked through a crowd of people who were yelling and screaming obscenities and everything at him as a young black man who was integrating that university. And today, he is positioned striding onto that campus. And above him, on the arch, is one word: courage. And so we want you to show with boldness that same courage, which I know you're up to doing because I heard you yesterday.
I really do believe that we have a chance at creating this society before it's too late. Because a shift in mindset can and usually does happen quickly. Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense in January of 1776. It spread like wildfire, and in less than 6 months, we were free and independent from British rule. It has happened before, and it can and it will happen again.
I think ALEC is a great leader. ALEC is a normal guy who has decided that normal people have to step up and have to call for change. And I think his message is right on. We can't solve this problem the same way that we got into it. We actually need to stop consuming as much. We need to change our government. We need to do really dramatic things, and we need to wake up to what really matters.
I believe we can do this. I believe we can change this unsustainable and corrupt mindset. I believe we can learn to value nature and future generations just as much as anything else. I believe that we can transition to a sustainable and just society that knows what just enough is. I believe we can do it. So let's now all work together. Let's now work together to stand up, unite together across generations, and show the world that we matter. Let's make it happen. This is our time.